lot of stuff to unpack. I'm sure you guys already know a lot about the news. If you don't, I'm going to go over the details with you guys. Yeah, I actually had to postpone the stream just a little bit. I had to keep pushing. There was some news that just broke right now that I had to make these videos, so. Alright. I'm gonna get this stream going right now. Get some of this music off. Alright. I'm gonna make it a very quick one. What's going on, everybody? It's Ron Goodall. Hold on. Let me get this recording on right there. Alright. Perfect. What's going on? It's Ron Goodall over here at FightHype. It's been a little bit. Right before I even get into this, yeah, my hair is crazy right now. I've been meaning to get a haircut. So before you guys start annihilating me for my hair, yes, I'm very aware. I think I saw some comments earlier throughout the weeks. So, but that's on you guys to judge a man's hair. But I do need to cut it. My son's been pulling on it. So as you can see, it's kind of rearranged a little bit right now. But I already see there's a couple comments in there. What up, Bino? What up, Tio? What up, Certified Super Saiyan? I love the name. So I'm gonna go straight into it, man. I haven't went live for a couple weeks because, you know, I was getting some stuff organized and getting some stuff together, and there wasn't really a lot of stuff currently at that time that was motivating me to do a live. There wasn't really any topics. Then this past week or so, I'm sure you guys heard the Crawford, the Canelo, this and that. But it seems like the one that's most concrete that's being reported is the Devin Haney versus Ryan Garcia. All right. So I see a couple comments. Let me throw those up real quick. For everyone that's just coming in, it's Ron Goodall. That's my Twitter handler. But where is it? All right, perfect. Bino Gambino says same results or worse. Devin will never beat Ryan. Devin ain't gonna win the rematch. No need for a trilogy. All right. So the public's kind of already speaking that they don't think Devin has a chance in this, right? So this is the best time to be a boxing fan in decades, King. Yo, like there's a lot of interesting fights that are coming up. Rumors and kind of speculating. Like I don't want to report on those things because, you know, nothing's been really concrete. The only thing that's been concrete right now, if those fights do get made, right, King, it's going to be a crazy time. But the thing that I do want to, you know, talk about and highlight is what has been widely being reported. So for a lot of people who don't know, Ring Magazine has been under new ownership. So Turkey Al-Sheikh, all right? And Turkey is funneling a lot of this information through Ring Magazine. Ring Magazine is also used to be Michael Benson's Twitter account, right? Which was a regurgitator of a whole bunch of news. So Turkey bought Ring Magazine, bought Michael Benson, and he's funneling his news through that. So if you guys did not know that already. So it says the Ring Magazine has been informed that Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney are set to share a show against separate opponents in May in the USA and will rematch in October to open Riyadh season in Saudi Arabia if they both win. So Turkey's the guy that's kind of putting this all together. And as in right now, these guys won't face each other until October, right? If they both win. There's been rumors that Devin might be fighting Jose Ramirez. I don't know how true that is. And then there's been rumors or speculation that Ryan might be fighting Teofimo Lopez. I don't know how true these things are. So, base, Red Pill Chad, MMA is still better though. I think it has its ups and downs, right? I think MMA, my personal opinion, is kind of like, it's kind of like on a low, and boxing's kind of on the up. And eventually when boxing's kind of down, then MMA kind of goes up. You know what I mean? Kind of waves, but I'm a fan of both. DeMonte Glaze says Devin wins easy. Okay. And then Never Fold Sports, Ron, WTF, or WTW, fam. What's up, man? It's been a minute, right? I know. I'm going to be kicking these lives on like almost every day now. I just needed a little break to reset You know, there wasn't really a lot of stuff going on. I just didn't want to just do a whole bunch of show speculations. Now we actually have concrete news, so we're going to dive into it. Murd15, what up, man? Turkey does understand how important it is for big events in America. Well, I mean, I do understand that the idea at the end of the day for the Riyadh season is to get people to come to Saudi Arabia, right? So it'd be strange for me to think that their main objective to get people to go over there to stage a lot of stuff in America. But, you know, things can change and nothing's really concrete. But that's kind of what their goal is, right? Why would they want to come to America over and over and over? So Garcia K and Lopez KF, both of them races. Yeah, I mean they've said some stuff, man. I'm not with that. At the end of the day, like if we're talking about the things that's transpired on social media or in interviews, yeah, I'm not cool with it. But you know, at the end of the day, you know, it's a fight that we still want to see. Smoke and mirrors, the corrupt referee and judge should be under investigation. You're talking about who? The Devins? We never got big events. He got the money. He's lying. The fighters, who cares where it's located and what network? WTO, what's the word? Like, what's good? Oh, okay. Yeah, I've never seen that. I'm just getting back into the motion. I've been doing a lot of interviews, but all these speculations, even like the Crawford Canelo stuff, like I didn't really even want to report on that stuff because it's still not like concrete. You know what I'm saying? The only thing is concrete is this so far. Ron, you've been ducking the fade? No, I haven't been ducking the fade at all. So I want to get into the the Ring magazine, and then there's a boxing scene article that kind of opens up more into the trilogy talks, right? So this is reported by a very credible reporter, Keith Idec, cool guy. You know, he's been popping off on Twitter a little bit. He's been going after a lot of people, but all in all, he puts out Ryan Garcia Inc.'s fight deal for U.S. card featuring Devin Haney, building October rematch. So it says featuring Devin Haney. I'm only speculating, but it sounds like Ryan might be, if this is the main event of Ryan Garcia, Devin would be the co-main. Both on the same card, all right? I am Sparky says Ryan by KO this time by round 6 or less. Yeah, I see a lot of people got Ryan in this, right? So Ryan Garcia has accepted a fight that everyone involved hopes leads to a dramatic rematch the entire boxing world wants to see. Turki Ali Sheikh, the owner of Ring and the head of Riyadh season, announced through his X account early Thursday morning that Garcia has signed a contract for his next fight. I should probably pull up Turki's tweet, right? If we're going to chronologically go through this properly, right? So let's pull up his actual tweet where there's a picture, I believe, of, yeah, right here. He says, the deal was done. The opponent is set. Big news come exclusive in the ring. Let's get boxing great again. So this is his lawyer, Lupe, who he's originally fired, and then now he's back. You can see right there, there is some signing going on right there. So that's the tweet that they were referring to. So Ryan versus Pitbull, Cruz, and May. I mean, I don't know. I have no idea what the opponent could be, and I'm not going to really speculate too much because, you know, I'm sure we're going to find out pretty soon. So I'm not going to use my brain. You know, it could be anybody, right? Legacy, the great perfect fight for Ryan. I mean, Pitbull has a fight in a couple of weeks. So, I mean, I just don't think you can kind of just safely assume that Pitbull, I mean, if I had a pick, right, Pitbull will win that fight. But you still can't really set Pitbull right now because he has an opponent coming up right now. Point fire, Haney can't sell a big fight. Fake, Lomachenko beat him. Last fight with Ryan was not sold out. Yeah, I don't think it was sold out. And the Lomachenko fight was definitely controversial in many people's eyes. So, base red pill chat. Devin Haney still suing him. So, from my understanding is that the lawsuit would be negated if they came to some sort of agreement to make a fight. So, I mean, would you fight a guy that's suing you? No. So, in this case, I believe that the lawsuit would be dropped. Ryan by TKO, then rematch. No rehydration clause. I mean, I'll get into the trilogy aspect because there's another article in it. It'd be very interesting that they would do a trilogy, but I guess the first fight would be a no contest. So I guess by default, if one wins, the second one, it still would be like 1-0-1. So How to with Eric G? I think there's going to be so many clauses that the fight's going to be a dud. Last I heard, they're trying to make this into a trilogy, his trilogy. What do you guys think? Yeah, I mean, there's word it's a trilogy, and also the fight would be at 147. So I'm gonna go into more detail into that. But the 140 fight weight class is definitely not gonna be it. Point fire, why you lie. Meanwhile, anyway, so popular that tickets in Tokyo have to go to a lottery system. I mean, that's within Japan. You know what I mean? I mean, Japan definitely controls that market. It would be at a catch weight. I believe it's going to be at 147. Tank should retire. He has nowhere to hide anymore. Turkey making the best fight. It's the best. No more PBC BS. Joe Dirt. I think fights can still be made for Tank. I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, these guys were probably going to leave the division pretty soon at 140. I mean, they're pretty big. So, fight definitely sold out and sold 500K pay-per-view, 35 million revenue. You talking about the Devin and Ryan? They didn't do 500K pay-per-view. Legacy the Great. They didn't do that. The confused, no, it wasn't sold out. What up, Warlock Boxing? What's up, man? What's going on? Bud stops Canelo. All right, so I'm gonna take a break for the chat. So I'm gonna finish this article. If Garcia shown signing the contract in the photograph, which is what we saw with right here. Blah 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 blah. Attached to his ex, his Twitter. When their respective bouts, they would advance to an October rematch of the controversial no contest. The October rematch is scheduled to open Riyadh season in Saudi Arabia. So, the rematch won't be in America. During their heated encounter, Garcia dropped Haney. Okay, this is a recap. Haney. Okay, so we don't need to read more of that. We already know that information, right? So, on Devin's Twitter, you can see right now, this is his response to that signing. Lupe's such a effing weasel. Allegedly, Ryan fired him for stealing, but I see he's back. Can't resell these Saudi tickets, buddy. All right. And then he also puts out buy 140. So it's clear as day that he's saying that I'm not going to be at 140 no more. And it's been very, very, and yeah, he says, you want me to undisputed again. It's been very widely reported, you know, sources and all these type of things on X saying that Devin will have a return fight at 144 and then jump to 147. So, and then this is Ryan Garcia's tweets. I can't wait for you guys to see who I'm fighting. One thing you can't say about me is I take weak fights ever. Only one really doing it. So, let's see. View quotes. And I think Teofimo had a response to this. That's why a lot of people think it's going to be Teo, but it's not a tune-up. Yeah, I see right here he put, let the games begin. Handshake. So, with Ryan kind of saying, I'm the only one that's fighting everyone is kind of who he's insinuating. Like, I'm fighting all the four king kind of guys. If he goes from, you know, Tank to Devin to Teo, yeah, he is the only guy. But Teo's still in like a top rank situation. So, I don't know if he's going to even be allowed to do this Turkey stuff. Like, I have no idea. But Teo has definitely been on social media saying that he wants to get out. He was at the Ring Awards, so it's very interesting. My volume's low? All right. Sorry, let me get it up. Sorry, Alex. Let me get it up. Build the Dream Haney. After we beat Ryan twice, we're moving up to 154. All right. Point fire tickets are raffle because their country supports their own and we don't in the U.S. Yeah, I mean, they definitely raffle in Japan. You know, everybody in Japan wants to go to an Inoue fight, so... We'll make sure I think Ashton Ryan will win without weight bullying and PEDs. Also, Devin will not fight the same way. I agree that the fight will be definitely different in a lot of aspects, but, you know, it's definitely going to be hard to shake that Ryan Garcia performance, right? So, and I'll get into, like, my whole entire perspective and theory about the fight. Can't hear me? It's low? All right. Hopefully this sounds better, Marty. Alex got me on a mic check. Legacy Garcia versus Haney wasn't sold out. Plenty of empty seats, but it's not going to beat Canelo. Get off the gas. Terrence is sending Canelo Alvarez back to Europe. Well, what I was told and heard, it was sold out. Point fire, can you tell why it wasn't sold out? I mean, like, in definition of sold out, it's like the definition of sold out is that they have an X amount of tickets that they're willing to sell, and if they sold all those tickets, that would be considered a sellout, right? So it can be confusing. Like the definition of sellout or sold out, right? This is how they do it in boxing. If I had a venue that held 100 people, but I only offered 50 tickets to sell, and I sold 50 tickets, not the capacity it holds, then I technically sold out my tickets that I was willing to sell. And that's how they can go out and say, like, we had a sellout. Now, if they sold out the venue, or like they did the venue capacity, right? Like these are all play on words, you know what I'm saying? They reached they sold out capacity, right? So the capacity of the building was 100 and we sold that out. That's another way to frame it. And, you know, there's always comps and tickets and things like that. So at the end of the day, like, I think I wasn't at the fight, but, you know, I know that they probably comp whatever tickets I did not sell. And, because the tickets were expensive, you know, they were selling those tickets really, really, really expensive. So I didn't hear anything about a pure sellout, but they probably comped the tickets and probably said it was a packed venue. So Legacy Inoue has fought twice in America, both sellouts as well, as his fight was in the UK. Inoue hasn't fought at any pay-per-views, not American pay-per-views. Ryan wins hella easy. Devin is a C+, B- fighter at best. What up, Power Phil? All right. I'm going to get back to the chat. I'm going to read the boxing scene article, which is going to go a little bit more into the trilogy talk, because the Ring magazine was kind of just vague about what was kind of in detail. So Lance Pugmire, another credible writer, been on LA Times and other publishing. But anyways, he goes on and says, according to two sources close to the situation who spoke to boxing scene on Wednesday, actually I'll read from the top. All it will take is an exchange. Their own special versions of an apology and forgiveness from Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney to be on their way toward a potential trilogy. According to two sources close to the situation who spoke to boxing scene on Wednesday, Garcia and Haney are on the brink of setting aside 9 months of, all right, let's see, blah, blah, blah. Let's get into the actual, this is actually a pretty long article. So the fighters have already signed off a non-binding memo of deal points crafted by Saudi Arabia. The top priority to move things forward is now that Garcia to enroll in a more than year-long comprehensive drug testing program supervised by an agency he has often criticized, the Nevada-based Voluntary Anti-Doping Association, so VADA. Believing that Garcia would do so, Haney and his attorney moved Wednesday to put a 90-day hold on Haney's multi-million-dollar lawsuit against Garcia alleged battery, among other claims connected to dispute over their prior bout. So pretty much like I was saying earlier, you enter this drug testing program for, you know, our rematch, or essentially our trilogy in this case. We'll drop the lawsuit. Should things move forward swimmingly? So it says, should things move forward, right? It doesn't look like it's guaranteed. No guarantee of that, given the multitude of dramatic events around the first bout. Haney would drop his lawsuit entirely and fighters would sign a fully binding long-form agreement, one official explained. After weekend visits in London, verbally agreed to steps that will lead to a planned rematch in October and even a trilogy bout next February, both in Saudi Arabia, according to boxing officials briefed on the schedule. So it seems like both of their fights would not be taking place in the USA. All right. Both of their fights would be in Saudi Arabia, one in October and one in February, if they get past their respective next fight. Considering the stringent drug testing and voluntary during the first fight of the outcomes of these future bouts, one individual connected to the negotiations said that the suggested plans qualify as a crapshoot to become reality. There's substantial risk, said one official, but nothing ventured, nothing gained. One proposal is to stage the May event as a spectacular outdoor card of fights in the New York Times Square, said an official who was told of the plans. That's pretty gangster. May is pretty close. to New York. I plan to go to New York a lot this year. So if they are doing a card in May, then I will go to that. So just let everyone know I will consider going to that card. Whether that can happen or not is uncertain. The Saudis originally sought their stage debut. Yeah, so the Crawford one, the one I went to. The Saudis in Haney camp on Wednesday were awaiting confirmation, and Garcia enrolled in VADA. He'll also need to submit a negative test to the New York State Athletic Commission to be cleared to fight again. The bout sheet memo stipulates the weight limit for their second fight and the third fight will be at 147 with no morning weigh-in requirement, so pretty much no next day rehydration. All right. So we're kind of there. We kind of understand all the details now, right? All right, I'll get to the chat in like 2 seconds. You guys keep writing the chat. I'll get to all you guys. So, breaking this down in full detail of everything that we know now. Ryan and Devin had went to London. They met up with Turkey, right? Pretty much they're working out some sort of deal where that if Ryan does enroll in some sort of drug testing program and submits to the New York Athletic Commission that he is clean from some sort of point, that they would do what would be dropping the lawsuit for them to do not just a second fight, but a third fight, both in Saudi Arabia, one in October and one in February of next year, at the weight of 147, both fights. That's the details. They both have essentially another fight in May where I think they're both going to be on the same card. And if they get past that, they will go from May, then October, and February. So this is all the details that we got. Al-Sheikh will bankroll VADA's testing. So Turkey would pretty much pay for the drug testing. By signing up VADA stringent testing, Garcia effectively does more than apologize by endorsing the testing that is strongly backed by Al-Sheikh. Earlier this month, Haney became the first fighter enrolled in VADA's 24/7, 365 drug testing plan. I thought that was Nonito Donaire. Like, am I tripping? I thought Nonito Donaire was considered the first one. I thought that's how they're Donaire. Do I need to reach out to Donaire about this? Yeah, Nonito Donaire goes all in with 24/7, 365. Why are these fucking articles just not able to just clarify that Devin is not the first fighter to enroll in 24/7, 365 drug testing plan? Like right here on Snack, Nonito Donaire goes all in with 24/7, 365 VADA testing June 18, 2022. Why? Why is this such a forgotten thing? I mean, I'm going into semantics, right? Like this is semantics. But the semantics of saying he's the first fighter enrolled is not true if this is the case. I mean, it really doesn't matter, but yeah, Donaire issue statement after withdrawing. Okay, that's some other thing. All right, anyways, enough. All right. So that's all the information that we got. All right. That's all the information that I'm able to kind of extract from these articles. Haney versus Ramirez is a weird fight next. That's what I saw on Twitter. That it would be Haney and Ramirez at 144. So Ryan versus Cruz. Nah, you good, bro. They capping. Cruz is 5'2" with a 66. I don't know if it's this Cruz. I know Cruz did fight on Riyadh season out in LA, right? When he fought Rayo. So there is a relationship that Turkey has done with PBC. So it's not saying it's impossible, but Pitbull has to get past his opponent in February. So January, February, March, April, May. It is doable. I guess as long as he's healthy. Tio versus Ryan is crazy. I mean, I don't think that's going to happen because Tio is still with Top Rank. Like, he still has a Top Rank deal. And I don't think having a fight with Tio... I mean, I think Tio and Pitbull is a risky fight. Granted, if you want to make the Devin Haney fight happen next. So, Ramirez ain't won since 2020. Devin will get caught again. He's still losing sleep over the first fight. Michael Benson works for Ring Magazine now. I don't know what Michael Benson does. I know that his Twitter has been completely engulfed as the Ring Magazine. So I don't know if he's the one that's running it, you know, just behind the scenes. I don't know if he's on like a non-compete clause. So Devin has proven to be an undisputed champion. He has been proven to be an undisputed champion. Oh, well, Mario Barnes just fought a dude with 6 losses. Score fighting prospect Ramirez ain't bad. I mean, if you put it that way, I mean, granted, you know, Floyd Schofield is a prospect. And yeah, Mario Barnes is fighting a guy that he went to life and death with him. So, anyways, I understand the U.S. market. All right, so I'm gonna skip some of the Inoue stuff because it's just kind of irrelevant. Let you guys duke that out. I never watched Schofield Kid, not gonna lie. I mean, I would favor Shakur, man. He's definitely fighting a prospect. Ryan definitely needs to drug test with USADA or someone else. He better not go with Vada and Victor Conte and Bill Haney, because if Ryan wins, again, they're gonna set him up. No way I would trust Victor. All right, so this is my thing. All right. About Devin or Ryan. I've already spoke a lot about this when it was going on in real time. And as crazy as this sounds, before the news, like, this is me being honest, right? So let me put it on big screen, all right? So let me tell you a story, and this is honest. Like, if you want to clip it, you want to put it out on Twitter, you want to do whatever you want, like, it's fine. Like, Ron, stop trying to save Inoue from the tank smoke. I just don't want to go back and forth on the Inoue stuff while it's like 2 topics, right? Like, I'll be happy to talk about Inoue after I get all this stuff out. All right, let me tell you a story. I won't specify specific on like the sources and whatnot, but I think a week out before the news broke of Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney, like that Ryan failed a drug test, I was told, hey, someone should look into the drug testing for Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney. And it didn't really click. I was like, and I was talking to this person, very credible person. I was like, what are you implying? That someone failed a drug test? And he's like, no, I mean, I'm just saying that someone should look into it. A week later, I'm driving in my car. I was coming fat. Where was it coming from? I think it was a Canelo fight week. I think it was Canelo versus Munguia, if I'm not mistaken. But I was in my car. I was leaving like a press conference or something, a fight week. We're driving in my car, and then boom, the news breaks out. So, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I kind of got tipped off about a week that someone was going to fail a drug test from VADA. So, take that information for what you want, all right? You know, clearly, you know, these are tests that was done prior and after the fight, and, you know, there is some sort of stipulation that, what's it, dude, who are you? Why did your name come up on my recommendations? We call boys. Ryan's not okay. I got sidetracked by reading a comment. Okay. Anyways, so obviously they need time to kind of deliver the news, and they go to the fighters and they release the news from that point. So, all right, well, Isaiah, if you're gonna sit here and cry, I don't know what you're crying about, like, then you can peace out. You've been listening to my voice for about a decade, so you can go watch a decade's worth of videos. Come on, Foo. What are you doing? Okay, anyways. Devin is a job jab, get lucky puncher. Do I own FightHype? No, I don't own FightHype, Isaiah. What's your pressing comments? Why is your paintings in a bunch? Is that gonna make you cry that I don't own FightHype? What's going on? I want to entertain some people in the chat that come in here and act all ballistic because I'm on a different time this year. Why are you here? Because I can be here, Isaiah. Why are you here? How about that, Isaiah? Isaiah Pilato. Why are you here? There you go. I just want to entertain this guy. I'm just wondering. I've heard and seen so much entertaining shit on FightHype, and now I'm listening to this boring ass meeting shit. Well, Isaiah, you can get the fuck out of here. All right. At the end of the day, you coming in here is benefiting your boy. So if you don't want to watch FightHype, then you don't ever have to. But you will anyways. So if you're a boxing fan. But just curious. I mean, you can ask it in like a look at this. Not hating. Look. Isaiah. Listen. What is it? Why did your name come up on my recommendation? Look. Because YouTube recommends this shit. Well, guess what? You're probably going to still watch FightHype. So that's probably what's going to happen, Isaiah. So, yes, this is the official FightHype. So, if you're coming in here like, hey, what's going on? I'm curious. Then that's the type of response you get. But if you come in here like, hey, like Fat Albert and shit, then yeah, I'm going to troll the shit out of you. And I'm going to make you look silly. So, at the end of the day, FightHype has a team of people. All right. I just answered. Well, just answer. How do you log on with FightHype account? Because I can log on to FightHype account. What's next? You want my credit card details? Sit back and watch the show, Isaiah. All right. You're getting way too like crybaby on here. I do want to watch. I'm just wondering why you're seeing what affiliation do you have with FightHype? A lot. I've been doing interviews on this platform for like almost a decade. That's what it is. I want to watch. I'm just wondering what affiliation do you have? Well, the affiliation is there's a lot of people. If you've been watching FightHype, oh, my camera just turned off for a second. If you've been watching FightHype, then you would know there's a whole bunch of people on here. So clearly, you probably aren't a true fan of FightHype. And for the people who's asking who's Ben is the owner of FightHype. Mayweather does not own FightHype. Ben Thompson's the owner. Ben Thompson. So, all right. So let me give you guys like a rundown because I see there's like a lot of people who are coming in and it's like, bro, this ain't no locker room. Bro, you don't get a man's response. Well, Isaiah, you probably don't have a life. And you're probably in here sitting on the toilet trying to figure out some shit just to kind of make yourself feel a little bit more important. So anyways, so FightHype was founded by Ben Thompson, right? So Ben Thompson is the original owner and still the current owner of FightHype. Not anyone, no speculation, nothing like that, right? So after a certain point, he's had partners and other correspondents and teammates and stuff like that. And because the world is so huge, right? That's how the world works. You get people from other places and then you collaborate and you do interviews and different stuff like that. So I'm one of the many people on the platform and I was given an opportunity to do live shows, right? I've been covering the sport probably longer than you probably even realized YouTube existed. So I always see like famous people doing interviews. Yeah. And I'm one of the people that do interviews. So bro, man, because he ain't get credentials approved. I don't know. I mean, look, sometimes I usually just ignore like stuff in the chat, but this year it's just like, why not entertain, right? I do not know that. I've seen a bunch of relevant people that I love listening to, but I've never seen you. Well, Isaiah, I want you to use your brain. There's usually a person that talks to them, right? There's usually a person that talks to them, and they talk to that person, and they go back and forth in the exchange. And what you're seeing is the face of the person that's being talked to, and not the person who's talking behind the camera. So that's how that works. I do actually. I'm just wondering why and who are you and why I'm not seeing the regular fight people that are doing interviews. Well, guess what? You haven't been around for a long time then, Isaiah. Back to boxing. I just wanted to look. I just wanted to just troll a little bit, right? It just took my attention, and sometimes you do get my attention. People in the chat do get my attention. So if they want the attention, I'll give them the attention. So FightHype is a great boxing channel. Thought this was a PBC channel since y'all always on the balls. See, that's very interesting, right? And I know, like it's because of like the exclusivity that Ben Thompson has gotten with Floyd, right? The perception is like, all right, it's it's PBC, right? But it's not. It's been every outlet. I mean, every boxing organization, right? We go to Top Rank shows, we go to Golden Boy shows, we go to PBC shows, we go to Matchroom shows, we go to everywhere, right? Like, I have a great relationship with PBC and have a great relationship with Top Rank. I go to Golden Boys. Shout out to everybody. They all collectively help us as a platform. So at that point, I think at a certain point we've been called like for example, people think like we're pro Tank, and then we're also pro Shakur, or we're pro Devin, or like we're anti-Tank because of Floyd, or like we're anti-Pacquiao because of Floyd, or we've heard all that. And really at the end of the day, if you just watch a certain level of like interviews, like just only this specific part, you're gonna miss all the other stuff. Like we have an Australian who just interviewed Eddie Hearn. Floyd doesn't own FightHype. No. Mayweather, PBC, you get it now. No, Floyd does not own FightHype. Ben Thompson owns FightHype. So anyways, oh, this is Ron Goodall, FightHype since the 2000s. It's technically the 2000s now. Stop hating on GTD. You know what's crazy, right? I know you're trolling here. I just went to I just went to the turkey drive of Gervonta Tank Davis. So let me see. Let me pull this up. Turkey. So I know like the idea of that people think like, oh, okay, like FightHype is like anti-Tank, which is not, and we're not anti anything. I was just around Coach Calvin during the turkey drive, and Kenny Ellis. Tank was doing a really good job about donating to his community.
When Tank give the call to actually put something together, man, you got downtown locker room jump in, everybody just come together and just put it together. This was an overnight thing. I looked at the internet, I noticed we had a flyer. I said, dang, yo, and then I got another phone call, yo. So
yeah, definitely check this out. I'm like twice your age, fool. I'm not even trolling, homie. Yeah, well, you're definitely, I'm just trying not to unsubscribe because FightHype has some good news. Well, even if you unsubscribe, Isaiah, you're still going to watch, man. You over here, a 6-year-old man in here just hating. So, if that makes you feel good, Isaiah, if that's your real name, man. Oh, so you're just like the camera guy and shit. Got it. Oh, yeah. You definitely like me, Isaiah. You're the dude holding the camera that never gets FaceTime. You sound like you really wish you covered boxing, Isaiah. Maybe if you're a little bit nicer, Isaiah, maybe you get an opportunity to cover boxing one day. instead of just being some guy behind the computer. So, anyways, that was pretty fun. Getting back to the whole Devin and Ryan Garcia thing, all right? Nobody cares about fighting in the UK. Let's see. Floyd once said, "Don't believe nothing the YouTube channel says unless it's from me or FightHype." I mean, like, that's pretty much what these fighters want. They want an ability to just tell their side of the story, right? And so, pretty much, is on the light talking about. I know, right, Quentin? But you know, that's what they want. They want some sort of attention, right? That's what they do, right? You know. And sometimes it's, you know, it's fun giving them attention. Sometimes it's just like, it's whatever. You need to be pro Mexican food. Mexican fighters made fight night. Made fight hype. Okay, you see this, right? So, my man's having a little fun in the chat. Anyways, y'all platforms like 17 years old. Anti-Satan. Floyd's about y'all about 12 years ago. How you like, yo, this dude Isaiah is definitely a troll. I appreciate you though. What's the in and Ryan info? F Isaiah. All right. So anyways, getting back to the original topic on hand, all right? Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney, they got their 2 fights in the works, one in October, one in February. Granted, if they get past their opponents in May. We have no idea who their opponents are in May. Their fights are going to be at 147 when they meet each other, both in Saudi Arabia. Now, really, my whole thing is that, you know, if Ryan does enter this drug testing situation, right? If Ryan does decide to go into VADA, you know, it'd be very surprising because he's very, has conspiracies against Victor Conti and everyone involved into the whole drug testing program. At the end of the day, I don't know what to tell him. You know, he did fail a drug test. If he does feel like it was tainted, if he does feel like if there's something, you know, in his system that was, then he's going to have to negotiate that with Turki Al-Sheikh and do something like, you know, some sort of form of some sort of USADA, you know. But in this case, you know, Devin, in his mind, needs to fight a guy who doesn't fail a drug test, right? You know, his whole stick about him suing him because he came in over, you know, 3-4 pounds, you know, that's something they agreed on. That's something that they definitely, you know, in this case, believed, you know, was done intentionally, but they accepted the money. So, you know, you can only go so far with that. And with kind of the whole failed drug testing situation, he's already done his time. He's doing his time. So really at the end of the day, I think the ball's in Ryan's court. You know, I know this lawsuit situation is something that they're going to have to duke it out. You know, James Toney and John Ruiz had a situation like that didn't play in his favor. So I don't know how well this is going to work for Devin Haney. But regardless, if Ryan and Devin do fight, right, if they do decide to fight, they're going to have to drop the lawsuit, you know. And Devin went on Twitter and said, look, 140, I'm out of here, right? So really at the end of the day, I think 2 things can happen. You know, I can say that I think that Ryan can fail his, quote, drug test and also look like the better fighter strategy-wise. You know, I didn't think Devin's strategy was the best strategy. And I know that's really hard to say for a lot of people because, you know, if the person who has failed the drug test, you know, does get some sort of like credibility and based on the fact that he was the better fighter, I mean, I think it's also fair to criticize the person who fought on the other end. Devin was the guy, who was the favorite. And this is my own honest opinion. It's not me defending Ryan. I think that Devin fought a really bad strategy. I thought his game plan was bad. And I think that he's going to reevaluate that strategy that he had going into the first fight and going into this fight. But however, Ryan's going to be bigger. You know, he's going to be considered healthier. But in Devin's case, so is he. You know, he's not going to be the guy that's going to be weight drain. You know, he's the guy that made the 140 limit while Ryan didn't. So I think this is going to give Ryan and Devin both a healthy weight cut, and they don't have to rehydrate the following day based off the boxing scene report. So if they can make 147, which they will, that sounds like a very comfortable weight for these guys. Next day, they don't have to rehydrate. And if these guys both pass their drug test, then fight on. Tio hasn't been on pay-per-view. Is the Dev date legit, Ron? Well, the only thing that I see in here, Legacy, is that based off the article, you know, Ring Magazine, they're going to say that March is the month. Or no, my bad, May. There's going to be a May card somewhere in the United States. So the May card is going to be where Ryan and Devin both fight another opponent. And then October is the rematch. And then based off boxing scene, the third fight would take place in Saudi Arabia in February. So those are the months specifically. Nothing was tainted. The company was getting ready to sue him for saying that with no evidence. You know, I wouldn't put it past these situations, right? Like, yeah, exactly. They took the money. Cool, he left. He wanted to do his own thing. All right, I'm going to entertain you a little bit, Isaiah, because you're still here, so you're a good sport. Ryan's a beast. He tricked the whole world into thinking he's crazy. You know, this is going to sound sinister. I think Ryan was definitely, like, not taking the fight seriously. And because of the fact that he didn't take the fight seriously, and he still was able to perform that way, I think it just shows that he's just better than Devin. If you don't think him failing the drug test mattered. Now, a lot of people also feel that because he failed the drug test, well, duh, he's going to have an advantage. The weight situation, like I said, I think Devin was overly confident because he's big for 140 also. He struggled to make the weight. Ryan also struggled to make the weight, but he didn't have to lose the extra 3 more pounds. So the next day, Ryan was able to rehydrate better than Devin, in my personal opinion. But you can't use that as an excuse. But you have to also say that it was Devin's poor calculation. Devin's poor calculation with the weight cut, and I think the bad strategy to going into Ryan. I don't think Ryan was actually taking the fight serious. I think Ryan was struggling to make weight. I think Ryan was half-assing. I think he was, you know, really just out of shape. And he was still able to take rounds off and crack Devin. So why don't you give Ryan his respect and give him props? Stop talking about some dude who got his ass whooped. Give Ryan his due and proper boy. I am. I think that if there wasn't a failed drug test, I think Ryan still would have performed very well. You know, there was a coach who told me that he was at all 6 fights, and he said, what's the question? Y'all just like coming at me like, Ron, answer the question. Why didn't Ryan take the fight seriously and was smoking weed all camp? Because that's what Ryan did. I think Ryan had like a mental lapse. I think Ryan was going through a mental crisis. I think somewhere along the line, there was genuine concern that Ryan wasn't going to make the fight. And I think that with that all played, you know, with all, you know, everything that played into factor, I think to a certain degree, I think the Haneys kind of just took the 3 pounds and was like, all right, we're still going to beat his ass because he's a little bit off, and they probably felt they were going to fight a guy that was not 100%. Like, guys, when guys miss weight by 3 pounds, they don't still fight. That's like diabolically a lot of weight. Essentially, they were like kind of taking advantage of Ryan. That's my thing. Like, he was definitely going through some shit. And that's why I'm like, he was not 100% like there. He wasn't 100% there. Like, who takes what is considered a guy that beat you 3 times in the amateurs? You guys went 3-3. Would you take a fight like that's like? Think about this, guys. Think about this. I'm gonna use Keyshawn Davis for example. If Keyshawn Davis was fighting Andy Cruz and Andy Cruz came in 3 pounds overweight, you think Keyshawn's gonna just? I mean, hear me out. A fighter, yes, a fighter would say yes, but you think he would be advised to continue to fight a guy that was able to beat him multiple times in the amateurs, let alone hurt him in the amateurs too, right? Bust his eardrums in the amateurs. They knew Ryan was on, like, doing a whole bunch of crazy shit. So I think that's where it's like you have to kind of give Ryan his just dues. The only thing that taints this whole situation is that he failed his drug test. So now you have to leave room for, well, the benefit of the doubt is that he failed a drug test. So now you have to negate it. And that's why we're here. If it wasn't, let's say if there was no failed drug test, that means Ryan's worse could have potentially beaten Devin's when he's in his prime and his best. Think about how crazy that sounds. Now, a lot of things does change now because they're going to both be at 147. Devin's not going to be the guy that actually makes the weight while Ryan doesn't, Wait, wasn't Ryan 100%, but the guy who did go through the struggle actually make the weight wasn't 100%? Well, that's what I'm trying to say, Spear Jab. When they go to 147, there's really going to be like no weight excuse unless Ryan, by God, comes in there at 150 and then Devin's the one that's still, you know what I mean? So Ryan wasn't 100% like training and mentality, and like he didn't do the camp 100%. You know what I mean? Like he was offish rockers, at least mentally it wasn't 100%. Now when they made weight, or when they came to the scales, Devin made his weight while Ryan didn't. So the guy who made his weight suffered more than the guy who didn't make his weight. You know what I'm saying? Like, and by all means, if you feel like Ryan wasn't going to make 140 anyways, and that was his limit too, well then, guess what? Solution 147, drug testing. I think there's really no excuse at this point, unless you believe that Devin Haney has suffered a lot of punishment in that fight, and he's still not the same fighter going into the second and potentially the third fight. Then I'll respect that. Devin wasn't 100% when you drain, and your opponent doesn't mean Devin's at a disadvantage. Devin wasn't 100% when you drain, and your opponent doesn't mean Devin's at a disadvantage. But here's the one thing, though. Leniency the Great. I agree what you're saying. The only problem is that Devin accepted the fight. You get what I'm saying? So, like, that's like me complaining about Ryan and the rehydration clause. You know what I mean? Like, I can't really, like, sit here and be like, oh, but Ryan wasn't 100% because the rehydration clause. He accepted the rehydration clause. You know what I mean? He accepted it. So, because he accepted it, it's fair game. Devin accepted it. And don't get me wrong, I know there was a lot of pressure for the fight to kind of like progress. And as a fighter, like we just saw Keyshawn Davis, he fought Gustavo Lemos and he was like 6 pounds over. And it's like, whoa, bro, you should not fight this guy. But it was a lot on the line. And he still took it because he still felt, as a fighter, it doesn't matter what you do. I will still beat you. That's how Devin felt. That's exactly how Devin felt. And because of that, now here we are. And there's really so many like theories on both sides that really I would probably be able to give the benefit of doubt on both, right? Hey, Isaiah, you funny, man. After we kind of beefed a little bit, I think I can entertain the jokes. You know what I mean? I think you're not a bad guy now. All right. I'll throw that shit up there. What about the ref? What up? $2 super chat. Andrew. What about the ref? Was he dirty? The ref was pretty shitty that night. That was a pretty bad performance because I think there was 2 knockdowns that weren't called that should have been called. Personally, in my personal opinion. So I think really, if you want to look at it, this should have been a bigger lopsided decision in that case. But, you know, I don't think he was dirty. I just think he was extremely competent. Ron's like having all the answers in school. Are you going to study? Pay attention class. Let's be real. That's why Ryan wasn't taking it serious and he was on roids. That's another, I mean, can I just play a theory, right? Can I just kind of do this? Because really, even if he was on roids, right? Would you assume that he would have like not looked like shit for 80% of the fight? Like, can we just call it for what it is? Ryan looked terrible outside of the rounds. He was hurting Devin, right? Like, he was losing a lot of those rounds. He was taking rounds off. He looked tired. He looked exhausted. I've never seen Ryan look like that. I ain't never seen Ryan look like that. Ever. Like, he looked healthier in the Tank fight, which he made 136, and then the next day rehydration, right? Like, Ryan looked healthier in the Tank fight than he did in the Devin fight. That's my personal opinion. He looked healthier in the Tank fight than the Devin fight. But the Devin fight is the fight that he failed, right? So and listen, when I speak on stuff like this, I'm not just speaking out my ass, right? Like, I was around Devin. You know, there was certain phone calls. You know, I talked to Ryan's dad. You know, I'm giving you guys like legitimate, actual, on the ground, like, consensus. I'm not just saying this because, like, you know, I'm looking from afar and I'm reading articles and watching interviews. No, I was around these guys. You know, I spoke to them. There's a genuine concern for Ryan. Like, there was legitimate concern that he was not going to make it to the fight. And because of that, I can genuinely express that I think Ryan was not 100%. And I think that Devin came in there overconfident, and even to the fact that they were thinking maybe we're going to stop Ryan. Because, you know, Devin don't even fight. Like, Devin does fight in the pocket, but Devin was looking to hurt Ryan throughout the fight when he should have been kind of like backing up and boxing and using his boxing ability. Like, he really wasn't doing that. So because of that, I think the strategy was bad. I think the strategy was saying, go after Ryan. And it backfired. You know, he's sluggish. Look, he's fat. He's tired. You can stop him, go after him. And it didn't work. It backfired. I think the strategy was bad. And I think Ryan, because he failed the drug test, well, you gotta negate the win. But in this case, boxing fans knew what they saw. They saw a guy who kind of struggled with a consensus game plan. Now, people are like, whoa, he was failed a drug test. That shit makes him stronger, faster. Of course, he can't get out the way of the left hook. You want to say, like, hey, the left hook, he can get out of it. But it's because he was on steroids. And, of course, you can't get out of a left hook if a guy's cheating. I understand that. I get that. But like I was trying to say earlier, there was a coach. He was at all 6 fights, an Olympic coach. He told me he picked Ryan. If you guys want to race bait and do all this other stuff, he was a black guy. All right, so he picked Ryan, and he said, you know, Ryan always hurt Devin, and Devin was, you know, boxing. When Devin was able to box and kind of, you know, do that, he won. But when Ryan hurt Devin, which he hurt him, you know, this is what's gonna happen. And he picked Ryan because he felt that this was how the fight was going to play out. He said they haven't changed too much from the amateurs to the pros. And because of that, he's expecting X, Y, and Z. And he broke down why Ryan was going to win. And that's what he told me, and that's exactly what happened. So I do believe that, yes, failing a drug test, Ryan had an unfair advantage. He had 3 pounds. Devin agreed to that. He didn't agree to the failed drug testing. But at the end of the day, I do feel that Garcia still would have probably still had success in that fight. And and you kind of take the rounds that Devin wasn't getting knocked down, the fight was close. So it's not like Ryan completely blew him out on paper, but Devin took a lot of punishment. Granted, if he was able to get the 2 knockdowns that Harvey Dock didn't count, then yeah, it'd probably been a pretty big lopsided situation. Why did Spence pull out the fight? I don't know the details of that, unfortunately. I know Mike Coppinger reported on it, and Terrence threw some shade, but I don't know. I don't know what exactly happened in that whole situation. Stop bringing down the weight. Like he didn't make weight. Dev accepted before he came out, bragging, "Hey, me and Floyd played you." I mean, I'm trying to understand. So Ryan, stop breaking down the weight like he didn't make weight. Devin accepted before. I mean, we can't really prove that. Like, I get what you're saying with the whole Floyd, with the 3 pound, but we can't prove that. But once again, it's no different when Ryan took the rehydration clause with Tank. We can't use that as an excuse. When you accept a certain situation, you have to take that for what it's worth. Devin accepted 3 pounds. You know what I mean? Like, he accepted it. Now, at the end of the day, we can say that Ryan had a 3-pound advantage. Of course, that's a fact. He did have a 3-pound advantage. But Devin accepted it. He got compensated money-wise for that, and maybe that decision will probably play a factor into their next fight, that if Ryan does not make the weight, then maybe there's no fight. These things are serious. 3 pounds is almost like unbelievable confidence to believe that a fighter, which is considered to be your equal, right, on your level, to ignore 3 pounds. Like it doesn't play a factor. Of course, I personally want to have the fight. I know, as lame as that sounds, I'm just trying to use logic. I'm not a fighter, right? So the mentality of a fighter is different. But logically speaking, 3 pounds is a lot. So anyone who's advised to take that fight, that's why you see it. Like, this is a prime example for all fighters out there. 3 pounds is a lot if you're fighting your equals or your contemporaries. Harvey Dock was more moist than a sweat rag that night. When is Haney Ryan fight scheduled to take place? Do we have a date? So for some of you that's coming in here, how to Eric G, pretty much we don't have the specific date. In May, they will be fighting on a same card, essentially either a tune-up or another opponent to build up the rematch. They're going to be on the same card in May, and they will be fighting in the U.S. In October, they will be fighting each other if everything goes well in their fight in May, and they will be fighting Saudi Arabia. And then the third fight will be in Saudi Arabia in February, if everything goes all well and fair. Just tell me when Ryan Garcia is supposed to fight Devin. Is it real? Is it not? Is there a real date? Is it signed on paper? Please just tell me that. What we do have is that pretty much almost like a term sheet. Ryan has pretty much signed his inked agreement right there. The deal was done. The opponent is set. Big news is coming. So in this case, like I said, Keith Idek, who works for the ring, and Turkey owns the ring, and he's the one that's putting all this together. He's pretty much said Thursday Garcia signed his contract for his next fight. The ring has also been informed that Garcia and Ryo Devin Haney will be showcased against opponents to be revealed as a part of a made card somewhere in the United States. Blah, blah, blah. Attached to the message, if they win their respective bouts, they will advance to an October rematch of their controversial no contest. So, pretty much, if Keith Idek from the ring is reporting it, then it's real. It is real. 100% real. And that's the reason why I haven't done these lives throughout these couple of days, because there's so much misinformation and that we don't have anything concrete. I would just be speculating with you guys. So, this is 100% real. Because this is literally like Turkey's media outlet. Turkey bought this so he can speak through them so that they can speak to us. So, anything on the Ring magazine is official for Saudi Arabia and Turkey Al-Sheikh. So Isaiah, that's pretty much all you need to know. You know, Haney needs a real trainer. I mean, he's definitely getting some different help with Nate Jones in his camp. If you know, Spearjack says, I fear he accepted it, but the fans would have never let him live it down if he didn't make the ring walk. It's like you're damned if you do and damned if you don't. No, I agree, Spearjab. That's the pressure of fans. Like I said, Keyshawn Davis had a homecoming fight. Sold all these tickets, Top Rank put all this money, you know what I mean? Like, they did all this stuff, and all of a sudden, here you are, and all of a sudden, you don't take the fight. Granted, there should always be, like, people on the card for, you know, fight in the night replacements, but that fight specifically was for Devin and Ryan, so sometimes, you know, you have to make a very tough decision. Do I take this fight and go through what you're saying, or you know, don't take the fight and go through those repercussions, or take the fight and still go through repercussions if you lose? And really what's saving Devin is that failed drug test, because if there was no failed drug test, I'll be honest with you guys, that's it. It's a wrap. An out of shape, okay, subjective, purposely came in 3 pounds over or out of shape, right? When I interviewed Devin Haney's cornerman, he believes Ryan did do it intentionally, right? And what he told me is that when it came to weighing rules for New York, is that if you come in under 3 pounds, the commission can actually force you to make the weight. If you come at 3 pounds and up, you can negotiate if the fight can go through, but they can't force you to make the weight. If you go 5 pounds over, the fight's off. So 5 pounds over typically means fight is off in New York. Obviously, that wasn't the case in Virginia. There was 6 pounds that Gustavo Lemos missed. Was it 6 pounds? Something like that, 6 pounds. But they had a next day rehydration clause of 10 pounds. But that's all Virginia. Everyone in Virginia had a 10-pound rehydration clause. That's a state rule. So, sorry, my camera just overheated. Ring Magazine, is that the same mag that had Ronda Rousey as the fighter of the year back in the day? Again, like you said, a lot of misinformation. Yeah, that is. So just kind of explaining how it works. Ring Magazine was originally owned by Oscar De La Hoya before this deal and Golden Boy. Turkey Al-Sheikh came in, bought Ring Magazine. And then Turkey Al-Sheikh bought Michael Benson's Twitter account. So Michael Benson's Twitter account is now Ring Magazine's Twitter account, owned by Saudi Arabia and Turkey Al-Sheikh. So a lot of buying is what went in. Stop saying that he failed. He did fail. He pled guilty. Yeah, I mean, is there did I say he did not fail? He did fail. If he failed. I don't I've never said if he failed, did I? He did fail. Derek James simply outcoached Bill. I mean, in this case, yeah. Anger Casual keeps spitting facts, doggy. Yeah, that's my dog. Isaiah, you need to congratulate my man. My man's a full-blown college grad. So congrats on him. Devin needs a new trainer. I knew everything his style is, why his style is boring. He doesn't bring pay-per-view to nobody. He's boring. He's scared little boy. He's boring. I mean, at the end of the day, he made that fight exciting by getting cooked, right? I mean, look, I get the style matchup, right? You know, it's you know, Devin hasn't had like this kind of knockout consistency like Tank or Ryan does, right? So it's each his own. I think Dev did the honorable thing in making the weight and still fighting under specific conditions. Then the other guy failed 2 tests. It sucks for Dev. No, for sure. I mean, if he didn't, he would have been stripped of his belt, right? So he did the honorable thing. He wanted to defend his title, yada, yada, and all that stuff. But at the same time, he thought, you know, that this guy was food, you know, and still took the fight. Because, like, if you felt like this guy intentionally did it, and then you did the fight, and then you went to try to sue him after. Like, I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of that. Like, Keyshawn Davis just fought a guy that was like 6 pounds over. He ain't suing Gustavo Lemos. Like, he just went and whooped his ass. Now, in this circumstance, because Devin got his ass whooped, and then the drug testing, you know, they felt like everything was done intentional. But now it's used as leverage to kind of make the rematch. So, Devin and Bill should put on their Mortal Kombat costumes. Lack credibility. The reality is Ryan can't legitimately make 140. Before and after Tank fight, he packed a lot of weight, and naturally his optimal best is 147. Even his debut against Duarte, he made 143. So yeah, I mean he did make 136. He did make 136, Khan. But yeah, he definitely can't make these weights. So with that being said, how would he look if he wasn't on performance enhancing? I mean, it's a very ignorant statement to say. Great. I'm just speculating. I think he would look somewhat similar, is what I would assume, right? I can't promise you that he would, because he failed a drug test. So anytime you have something in your system, you always got to have like an asterisk and question mark, right? So that's the case, yeah. But, I just really think Devin fought a bad game plan. Like, I expected Devin to box him, and he didn't box him. He went to fight Ryan. Like, can we come to a consensus, right? When you went into that fight, and and I know there's people supporting Ryan, people hating Devin, people supporting Devin, people like, can we just come to a term that let's come to a conclusion. Did you expect Devin to go after Ryan and try to fight him? Would you advise Devin to go after Ryan Garcia, who's 3 pounds heavier, who's known puncher, went 3-3 in amateurs, go after him, knock him out, fight him? Probably not, right? We probably would assume Devin would have kind of took his time and boxed him, right? So that's what I'm criticizing, that Devin's best attributes was secondary to what would have been a pretty easy fight if he did that. But the fact that he went after Ryan, he pretty much gave Ryan everything he needed to bust him up. And that's why I feel that if they fought the same way, I promise you, Devin's not going to fight that way in the rematch. He's not going to fight that way. Regardless of them coming at 147, even, and they're making weight, the drug testing is fair, Devin's not going to fight the same. I promise you that. He's not going to fight that way. Oh, come on. Ryan was fat and sloppy. He couldn't even make weight. I felt that Ryan was kind of out of shape, personally. When you're fat and out of shape and you don't come in and try to make, and you're trying to make weight very poorly and very quickly, yeah, you're not going to make the weight. You're trying to say he didn't look good. Don't take away that he did look good. This is Ryan's best performance of his career. It's his best win of his career. I don't think it's his best performance. Like, I know this sounds crazy great, and I get what you're kind of alluding to. But Ryan was partying. Great. He was partying. Like, that wasn't for show. Like, that was not for show. Like, this is not a conspiracy theory. Like, I am literally telling you, as a fact, Ryan was partying. Ryan was partying. I'm not lying. I'm not, like, I cover boxing for a living. I talk to people. I go to these places. I see these people. I speak to these people. Ryan was not training as hard as he was as for the Tank fight. He wasn't. Everyone's on steroids. There's a high chance of that too. Devin's on snack every fight. Same guy who got banned from baseball. Has every right to speculate there too. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not putting it on Devin because Devin's never failed a drug test, but, he worked with Victor Conte. Victor Conte's part, has helped He has a great, has a relationship with Snack. He's creates vitamins. If you know the organization in and out, what prevents you from not, like, his job was to try to create undetectable substance, right? Victor Conti, Memo Heredia, like, the list goes on. Like, anytime anyone's associated with something like that, you always have to raise your eyebrow. You do. Now, I can't put that coat on Devin because Devin hasn't failed a drug test. But, if it helps Devin's case, which Devin went on Twitter and said, hey, you can pick whatever drug test. It doesn't have to be VADA. That's fair because Devin's trying to remove himself from the organization that Ryan feels has tainted his supplement. And that's a great answer on Devin's behalf. I think that was great for Devin to kind of state that. But at the end of the day, are they going to do it? Is that the case right here? I'm seeing Turkey enforcing VADA, based off these articles. So we'll have to see. If Devin accepts Ryan to take another type of drug testing that doesn't associate with Victor Conti, that just proves Devin's case even more. But in the reality is, Ryan wasn't 100% because he came in overweight 60 times over the ostarine limit. Ryan failed the drug test. Now, here's the thing. When Ryan tries to play victim of the Victor Conti stuff, you can't really disprove your failed drug test by just saying, oh, I was tainted. Do I feel that there's a chance that these guys do that stuff in boxing? Yes, I've heard stories like that. But just because I heard stories like that, I can't just automatically just say like, oh, Ryan, you're clean. It's Victor Conti's fault. I can't. You failed your drug test. It is what it is. But they pick and choose. They pick and choose who wins, or who fails their drug test and whatnot. Well, this is the case, But at the end of the day, like, Devin needs to fight better. The reality is that the race baiters got baited, even with the corrupt referee and judge. KO for the win. Point fire. The only drug found in Ryan's system was ostarine, a fat burner, since he couldn't make the 140 requirement in a small amounts too. That can't do anything to enhance Ryan's boxing skills. I'm not saying this is fact, but at the end of the day, if he's in a fat burner and he's trying to cut weight, right? He goes to a shady, weight cutting process to try to make the 140 limit, and he can't, and he done some dumb weight cutting shit because of that. Well, it showed. He failed his drug test trying to cut weight. Really stupid. Because why? Because he was big as hell. He was big as hell. He could not have been training seriously. He was very huge. You can see it in their face-to-face encounter. So that can't do anything to enhance Ryan's boxing skills. Crazy work. Ryan needs to reconnect with Eddie as a coach and have Canelo on his side. He's not going to listen to them. He's not going to listen to him. I agree. Ryan is at best at 147. Bill Haney keeps the trash. And as a trainer, seems as Teofimo's pop, these dudes need legit trainers. The alcohol-free beer was funny. Wouldn't want alcohol mixed with the sativa. Yeah, that was definitely interesting. Everyone should see Haney Exodus video at least once. I mean, I don't know what that is, Abel. Is that like an online YouTube video? Haney has to knock Ryan out to gain my respect. No, if he boxes him like flush clean 12, it just shows that proof that he fought a dumb strategy. I mean, I get what you're saying, gain the respect. But to me, if he actually boxes Ryan and doesn't just fight him, then yeah, he has a huge chance. But I don't know, man. Any word on Errol Spence, Fandor situation? It is based on Mike Coppinger. He says it is the fight is off, and Charles Conwell is most likely a potential candidate. I don't know. Spence put all these weird cryptid tweets the other day, so I don't know. Salute, what's up? Maybe he took some time because maybe he felt like he wasn't ready. Maybe he just feels like, Bill Lilly took Devin on trainers world tour from going to Freddie Roach, Mickey Bay, Nate Jones, Anthony Yar's trainers. I mean, they're trying to figure something out, you know. Turkey's good for boxing. Usyk and anywhere the current best pound for pound boxing in the world according to Ring Magazine. I agree. An activity and KO ratio speaks volumes. I think you can have Terrence and Inoue be interchangeable. I mean, I think Usyk is going to be hard to beat for pound, you know. Do you box? I don't currently box. Holy Saint. I did some amateur stuff back in the day when I was younger. My dad did police athletic league, so he's the one that taught me essentially boxing. But I did a lot of junior Olympics in Taekwondo. Haney by decision in a rematch. I think that's a fair assessment. You know, I feel like if Haney comes correct, I would probably say Haney by points. But there's a high chance that Ryan repeats that type of ass whooping, you know. And if Ryan comes in motivated and actually serious, you know. But Devin gets the luxury of actually not cutting to 140. You know what I mean? You know, they're both going to be like what's considered like healthy. So if Devin doesn't beat Ryan, his career is over with. Trust me. I agree with that. I feel like if Devin does not beat Ryan, then it's pretty much smooth sailing. It's over. At least when it comes to like the hardcore boxing fans are going to pretty much jump off. Can someone please tell me why Tank doesn't fight Haney, Teo, and Shakur? Aren't these supposed to be the best fighters? Hate when these dudes talk so much crap and not fight. Well, Devin is definitely not going to fight Tank ever because he's going to 147. Teo is at 140. He might move to 147. So that's probably dead. Shakur is pretty much his only option. So, and why him and Shakur don't fight? Because maybe Tank, you know, doesn't want to actually fight that guy. I mean, we'll see. You know, these guys are, like, still young. You know, like, I get, like, 30, 28. But anything can happen in the next couple of years. So, I wouldn't put it past them yet. After last circus, only a fool would pay to watch another episode. Lomachenko will beat Haney as well as Garcia. Haney tried to KO Ryan and paid for it. Bad game plan. That's what I'm saying. Then the first pay-per-view flop. It didn't meet the threshold. So, when you don't meet the threshold, you don't get the back end money. Haney needs to brawl. I hope not. Devin is a pay-per-view flop. I'm Mexican. I won't pay for a Haney fight. I'm not paying for a Devin run. I'm not paying for a Devin fight, period. Would you pay for Ryan and Devin, like the rematch? Is that you paying for Ryan in that case? Ryan's a drug cheat. Javante beat both their asses. I mean, on paper, yeah, savage. Ryan has failed a drug test. Good old Balco. What up, Kevin? Real Mexican fans won't buy a Devin pay-per-view. I think a lot of people won't buy a Devin pay-per-view. A lot of people haven't bought Devin pay-per-views, to be honest. You know? A lot of people have not bought Devin's pay-per-views. About to put Coke in the system, too. I think Ryan put Coke in his system, and then he put his system in Vada. You know? Did he test for positive for Coke? No, he didn't test positive for Coke. Canelo's better. Haney versus Ryan will flop. It's not worth pay-per-view. I don't know. I feel like the rematch might do better than the first, but we'll see. Zab sued Cletus. Now we know where Bill got that idea. Zab, Judah. Yeah, he did. I know there was an interview that we just did. But yes. Yes, Zab Judah was involved in a legal investigation following his fight with Cletus out in 2019. Judah also underwent emergency brain surgery after the fight. He went to sue him because I think he was also trying to look if he was on PEDs. I actually covered that press conference. What's my next step for my hair? First, I need to find a barber. I relocated. So, and yeah, I look unbelievably crazy as hell right now. Borderline trashy is what my girl was saying. I don't know. I was thinking about braiding it. You know? That's kind of where my mind's at with this, you know. And I see like all the comments with the hair and stuff. Like I get it. Like I'm not even tripping. But I wanted to pull my hair back for a little bit, but everyone called me Dougie Fisher, and it's kind of getting old. So I think I'm gonna braid it. I just never had braids before. I do need to like cut it and trim it, but I think I'm gonna braid it. But my son pulls my hair. You know, he's like 15 months, so I have to consider that too. But or I just chop it all off. But no, I think I'm gonna braid it. I need to like cut it and so it's clean, and then I need to braid it. I need to find someone that braids hair pretty well. So. But yeah, you can throw shots, bro. I look crazy. I need to actually like detangle my hair today. Earl and Fedora is off. Yeah. Yeah, man, that's sad. It's like they've been holding up like the division for a minute. So if you got the internet, you can watch every fight on VPN. Yeah, you can. I mean, I'm not gonna promote it, you know what I'm saying? But I get it. These fights are expensive, and if you don't get what you want, then you know, we're paying $80-$90 in the States. You know, we're not the richest people on planet Earth. So, same thing Devin is doing to Rye. Yeah. Do you play Undisputed Boxing Game? Nah, I actually play the fighting game, like actual fighting games, which is very interesting, right? I wanted to pull this up, and I'm about to get off pretty soon. This was very interesting. I don't know what your guys is like age or what you guys are into and whatnot or where you're from, but there's this I thought this was a glitch for me. But they're promoting Fatal Fury. Fatal Fury is essentially a line of a game called King of Fighters. Right? I'm gonna get into like my other nerdy passion. I love fighting games, right? So King of Fighters is essentially a game that came out with from a company called SNK. And SNK Corporation has then been recently bought out by the Saudis. And because they've been bought out by the Saudis, it makes sense that Turkey and SNK collab. Ring Magazine, SNK, because it's essentially two Saudi entities now. But it's a Japanese like fighting game organization, and these are the type of games like Tekken. I play Tekken. I play Street Fighter. Like those are the games. Like so, Undisputed. Like don't get me wrong, it's boxing, but I got to be like an alpha tester for it. And it's no shot at them. It's just not my cup of tea. You know, I feel like it has a lot of work for 2025. You know, modern boxing games has a higher expectation than just slapping skins on like a fight night game, and that's what it feels like. It feels like a fight night. You know, Knockout Kings. Remember Knockout Kings? So yeah, King of Fire looks like Tekken. Yeah, so they have like a new game, a new Fatal Fury that's coming out that they're promoting, and so that was the type of games I play. And I have been playing Marvel Rivals lately. So American boxing is paying the price for elevating YouTubers above real boxing prospects, it said. Look, you ain't wrong, dude. Jake Paul is killing the game. The biggest event of the year was probably Jake Paul, Mike Tyson. So Danny the Great, MLB, what's up? Devin Haney's soft. A lot of people feel that way. I heard Ryan's fighting Cruz, not Tia. You know, I haven't done some research on it. Ryan Garcia. Let's see what people are saying. I mean, I haven't really, you know, like I wouldn't go off of Twitter, and that's kind of why I've been holding off a lot of these type of lives. And I'm not saying it's not it, but I'm definitely not saying it is, because remember, there's been a lot of misinformation out there and a lot of stuff, and the reason why I've been kind of holding off on a lot of these type of lives is because I don't want to lead you guys down a path of just like bullshit. There's so much bullshit out there that, you know, until it's like concrete, then like what's the point of really discussing it as fact? It's only going to confuse the hell out of everybody, and it's going to just create a whole entire like, you know what I mean, like a big clusterfuck of misinformation. So I'm not going to go down that path until like I actually know. And I have a lot of credible sources. I haven't really dug into it because really Pitbull has to get past his opponent anyways in February. So, which I think he will, but Ryan Pitbull, Haney, Jose Ramirez for May, you think. People have been saying Jose Ramirez. So, they've been saying like the news is going to be coming out pretty soon. So, like I would just wait. Like this is what I would do. I know as boxing fans we're very eager and we like to be like in the know, but as a guy who understands how boxing works and a lot of things change at the very last second, I would just wait because we just heard a couple of days ago Devin was going to be BOK Prime. Now it's Turkey Al-Sheikh. Now it's Ryan Garcia, or is it not? Or now it's a tune-up, Jose Ramirez, or like let's just wait. You know what I mean? Like let's just wait. Let's not get too eager because really at the end of the day, you're only going to drive yourself insane and you're going to just, how would I say it? Create so much misinformation in your brain that like it's not even worth it. It's not even worth it because you're going to have to constantly fact check. Just, you know where you need to look. Ring Magazine is going to put out the Turkey news, all right? Boxing Scene is pretty credible, you know. A FightHype, Fight Hub, you know, like, you know where you guys need to go. You guys are real legitimate boxing fans. So, you know what sources to use. I would just wait. I agree with Ron. It's the combination of Earl's team, PBC feeling like Earl's not ready considering how bad his last performance was, and it could be a serious liability if he takes this fight. Yeah, Earl put out a tweet that says, like, hey, I want you guys to have the best of me. You know what I mean? I don't know what that means, but I don't know. I really don't know. Ryan would knock Devin out on a rematch. Ryan didn't train and still whooped that clown Devin Haney. That's kind of the consensus a lot of people felt. You know, Ryan was not 100% and he was still able to perform. But I also feel like Devin fought a really bad game plan, so he paid the price. All right, let me speed run through some of these. Legend says Ryan has nightmares from Tank making him take a knee. Tank would have won, like, regardless, in my personal opinion. I think Tank is probably, you know, just a smart individual when it comes to, like, boxing ring IQ. He never let Ryan plant his foot. I was at that fight. Within 2 rounds, was it 2-3 rounds? Ryan already reached, made a mistake. It didn't really matter about the rehydration clause. Haney's bow and arrow style ain't going to serve him. Plus, he has one hell of a leaky defense with Ryan's fast reflexes. It's going to look nasty in a rematch. Yeah, I think Devin's defense is very flashy, but it also has a lot of holes. So, I agree. Viva Canelo, Mex side boxing rules. Can Haney drop Ryan? He rocked Ryan in the first fight. Anything's possible, Sebastian. You know, I think if Devin fought intelligently and wore Ryan out, you know, as in like kind of get him the late rounds and fought intelligently, potentially he can probably drop Ryan, or if he overreaches. But, you know, I think there's a lot of stress and potential of Ryan hurting Devin again. So, Zab acquaintance gave Ryan the sup. Scooter. I heard there was a rumor that people were saying that Scooter, which is Richardson Hitchens, strength coach. I would continue checking with you when you do these lives. Good information on the Haney Garcia. You got a new subscriber over here. I appreciate it. I know I just lost one from the troll that was in here earlier, Isaiah. So 1 for 1 today. Canelo versus Crawford for September. Who wins in your opinion? My brain says Canelo, but my heart says Crawford. You know, I'll go more into that if that fight does get announced, because I have a lot of questions. You know what I mean? You know, like I want to talk to Terrence. I want to talk to Bomac. I want to talk to Coach Red. I want to talk to these guys because they clearly, more Terrence than the trainers, right? Because the fighter sees something, the trainers have to go with it, all right? Or maybe the trainers do. I want to talk to them. And it might be something that I might be able to share with you guys. It might be something of a form of interview. Maybe it might not. But I do want to get a little insight because that is a hell of a fight, you know? And one thing I do know is like counting out Crawford in any situation is kind of foolish. But this is Canelo at 168. You know what I mean? A guy who only lost to Floyd and Bivol is a lot bigger than Canelo. So, I think it's safe to go with Canelo. But when you kind of break things down, you start kind of like, can Crawford do this? So, Drake is suing people reacting to Not Like Us. Yeah, I didn't really read too much into it, but is he really? Like, I saw there was like a sheet of showing like Kai Consent or what's his name? The Twitch streamer and Kai Sanat. That's what it's, Kai Sanat. And I don't know, man. Drake out here just losing it too. Zab Judah sued Cletus for the same thing. Yep. Ron looking like Scrappy Ramirez. Yep, I do. I probably look worse. Scrappy got his shit tight. You got a son, homie? I thought you were 21. Nah, bro, I'm 34. I'm 34, man. I just look young. It's the black don't crack, Asian don't raisin genes. You think Devin can handle the part 140 and 147? I don't know, man. That's another thing. Ryan goes up, he's gonna hit harder too. So I don't know, man. Don't cut your main.